The air in the quarantine bay didn't just vibrate. It screamed. Kalin felt the pressure building behind his eyes, a frantic, rhythmic pulse that matched the flickering emergency lights. Elone was a collapsed star in his arms, her skin glowing a sickly, translucent violet, as if burning her from the inside out. When he touched her, it wasn't just contact. It was a lightning strike. His vision twisted, dissolving the sterile white walls into a rush of silver geometries and dying suns. He wasn't holding a woman. He was anchoring a collapsing dimension. It had begun 3 hours ago in the sterile vaults of Zenith Station, far from the chaos of the quarantine bay. The Athelian princess was a political relic, the last of her psionically gifted race, folding under the weight of genetic decay. Every galactic power had sent representatives, not for compassion, but to calculate the value of her death. They sought the Star Forge maps, the coordinates of the Athelian legacy, but feared the soul-binding contract required to see them. Touch her mind and risk psychic overload, the same fate that had fried 3 high-ranking ambassadors. Kalin had been standing by the door, a low-level human security attaché. Humans were known across the sector for their neural silence, a stubborn lack of psionic potential, which made them excellent guards, and invisible to psionic traps. The High Counselor backed away as Elone's breathing hitched, the psionic contract hovering above her like a hungry, shimmering snake. I can't let her go like this, Kalin thought. It wasn't tactical. It wasn't a play for maps. It was simple human instinct, to reach out when someone is falling. He stepped past the counselor, ignoring orders to stand down. His hand closed around the psionic fiber. The convergence hit violently, as if his skull was being pried open with a crowbar of pure light. Yet, where the others had shattered, Kalin felt dampening. His human neural silence, mocked by the galaxy as emptiness, absorbed the overflow. He became a biological lightning rod, a grounding wire for Athelian history. The Krelll boarding party hammered at the reinforced doors. The psionic bond hardened. Elone's eyes snapped open, not clouded by death, but blazing with the cold, focused fire of the Star Forge. Her hand gripped Kalin's forearm, digging in, anchoring the legacy into his veins. The map flowed into him, an ancient, living pattern, 1,000 generations compressed into a single empty vessel. And the emptiest vessel was the strongest. When the Krelll doors finally buckled, Kalin didn't flinch. The reinforced barriers disintegrated under the rhythmic percussion of Krelll thermal charges, smoke smelling of scorched insulation and ionized metal. For armored silhouettes stepped through, pulse rifles raised. But Kalin was no longer merely human. He was the anchor. Elone's violet radiance flowed through him, turning his veins to luminous gold beneath his skin. The Krelll relied on psionic noise to hunt. In Kalin they found a vacuum. He felt her mind press against his, not as an invader, but seeking sanctuary. Her thoughts were a frantic mosaic of star charts and dying memories. The chaos became crystal focus. The first Krelll fired. Kalin didn't move. He didn't need to. A shimmer of translucent force erupted from his chest, catching the pulse round and spinning it into nothingness. Not his power, it was hers, channeled through the unbreakable grounding of his human physiology. Now, Elone whispered, her voice echoing inside his skull. Kalin stepped forward, every movement fluid, strengthened by the Star Forge map blazing behind his eyes. A hidden sector, a sanctuary for a race the galaxy had declared extinct. With a roar that seemed to come from 2 throats, he threw his hands outward. A wave of kinetic fury slammed the boarding party, tossing Krelll like scrap metal, their armor crumpling against the bulkheads. The surge ebbed. Elone leaned heavily into him. We have to go, she gasped. They won't stop. They move through Zenith Station like a single organism. Kalin handled the physical world, sprinting, dodging falling debris, breaking doors he had once guarded. Elone handled the rest, scrambling security feeds, locking blast doors behind them. They reached the shuttle just as alarms screamed a fever pitch. Kalin slammed the airlock sequence. Breathing ragged, his body aching, he felt the cost of their union. As the shuttle punched into the velvet dark of space, the map in Kalin's mind settled. Coordinates locked. Elone's violet glow dimmed to a soft hum. She reached out, trembling, wiping a smudge of blood from his cheek. No protocols, no contracts, no political shadows. You're empty, she murmured. Your mind. It's so quiet. I've never known peace like this. Kalin leaned back against the pilot's chair, watching the stars blur into streaks of a jump. "It's not empty," he said softly, covering her hand with his. "It was just waiting for something worth holding on to." Ahead, the Athelian fleet awaited in the nebula. A ghost story had become reality, carried by a man the galaxy thought too quiet to matter. Because true power, he realized, wasn't in the loudest minds. It was in the one who could carry the signal through the storm. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.